So, say you're new to Space Engineers, and say you've used all the blocks that the game has to offer and you're looking for a little something new, something to mix up the game for you. Well, the Steam Workshop is obviously a good place to go and you probably already know about it. However, you may have found that there are just so many that you're not quite sure which ones are the good ones and which ones you should stay away from. Well guys, I'm Morphologist and you've come to the right place because I've put together a list of 10 mods that I think are great for new players to try out. The only prerequisite I had was that it had to be a mod that added something to Space Engineers. Blocks that substantially change the way that you design a ship, or allow for you to create things that you couldn't have created before because of the restrictions placed on you by vanilla blocks. And that's why for this video I've created the Drop Pod ship as a way to demonstrate to you what is possible with mods added to vanilla Space Engineers. So let's get started. The LODV, or Low Orbit Deployment Vehicle, is a vehicle I developed specifically for this video, to demonstrate what you can do given new tools in vanilla Space Engineers. Looking at it at first, it isn't immediately apparent what's different, but upon closer inspection you'll discover there are a few things that you just can't do in vanilla Space Engineers, such as Ikester's small solar panels, which has made it possible to partially solar power this deployment craft. And you may have noticed, has also allowed me to construct a drone from Group Survival called Potatoes.
Potatoes helps.
Hey there, Potatoes.
Hello, the Morphologist.
Come on down, let's have a look at your back. With solar panels such as these, it's possible to create drones that can stay out for longer periods of time, that won't have to come back for refueling or for recharging at a base station. But the creativity doesn't have to end there. There are virtually no end of things you can build with smaller parts such as these, which is why the next item I've added onto the list are batteries. The stock version of Space Engineers batteries are pretty darn huge, and it kind of restricts what you can do with small craft. But a modder by the name of Ravenbolt has a solution. A number of small, different-sized batteries which allow for some much smaller creations. In the case of the LODV, I wanted to have a backup power supply to store all that solar energy coming in from the roof. And the small batteries allowed me to do that without having to take up too much space in the cabin. But speaking of the cabin, and since we're here already, let's talk about the next mod, SE Modder 4's Small Ship Mega Mod Pack. This made it in here because there's currently no way in the vanilla version of Space Engineers to add glass to your small ship creations, and I thought that was a crime. Without it, you can't create airtight windowed small ships or cool cockpits like featured here on the LODV. But that's not the only thing. It also allows you to install lights on small ships, which can be great for lighting the way at night, or giving your drop pod an extra something. But if you're going to build a cool custom cockpit, what cockpit's complete without some awesome LCD readouts? And that's why I'm using Happy Sushi's custom sloped LCD panels. This pack allows you to place single block LCD panels on small ships, but also gives you a sloped option for large ships and small ships as well. It helped me create this pretty cool looking navigator seat in the back of the cabin of my LODV. But if you're going to have some LCD displays, you need to display something, right? Well, and that's where M-Master's Configurable LCD Panels come in handy. They allow you to get ship readouts such as your power systems, your speed, the damage of your blocks on your ship or who's actually occupying it, and it's pretty darn easy to use. Seeing as how you're a new player, I'll walk you through it. All you need is a programming block and a timer block. Once you've placed it, find your programming block, hit K on the screen, go down to Edit, and then inside there, go to Browse Workshop. If you properly subscribe to the code, it should show up in this list as Configurable Automatic LCDs. Once you've found it, select it, go down to Create from Editor, and it'll load right up onto your programming block. Then hit Check Code, and finally remember and exit. The script at this point is ready to go. All we have to do is go to that timer block that we set up earlier, find it, make sure it's set to 1 second, go to Setup Actions, and then find the programming block that we've placed on the ship. At that point, all you gotta do is drag it down to the toolbar, and then hit Run with Default Argument. After that, find the very same timer block you're accessing and make sure you drag it down to the bar and select Start. This will ensure that once you've started the timer block, it'll continually run every 1 second and update those systems. All that's left is to make sure you hit Start on that timer block. Also be sure to check mark silent if you don't want to hear the beep beep every time it goes off. Good, looks like it's running pretty well. Now it's time to set up one of those LCD panels to recognize the script. According to MMaster's own notes, all you have to do is go find the name of your LCD panel and add bracket LCD bracket onto the end. This will let the script know that this is one of the LCD panels you need to use. Then, in public title, add what you want to display. In this case, this display is providing a power readout. For a full list of what you can display on these LCDs, make sure you check MMaster's own page in my collection. It'll show you all the different things you can display on your various displays on your ship. And voila! We have all my readouts. That's pretty darn cool looking. But let's return to the exterior with SE Modder's Armor Ramp mod. This was originally created by Uncle Steve, and it allows you to create some pretty cool curved designs, giving you 1x3 ramps and ends. It's a must-have if I want to create some sleek and gorgeous curves on my ships, and it should add a little something to yours. But we haven't yet talked about how the ship flies, and that's with Aerodynamics mod by Digi. Now, I've already shown my ship fly a bunch, so I thought I'd use Shepard's own Goose Flyer to demonstrate what wings can do. With the pull of gravity and presence of atmosphere, it's difficult to stay afloat without using a lot of energy. Digi's wing mod can help you stay afloat without having to use downward thrusters while flying, saving you tons of energy and also making a pretty cool looking craft. But what about that cool pod on the back? Well, it's using a pretty cool mod called the MCM Boarding Ramp by Modern Colin. It provides a number of different options that you can add to your small or large ship to allow for a boarding ramp that actually has physics collisions, meaning you can drive vehicles up it or walk up it yourself. While you could certainly build a ramp out of pistons or rotors, what's that? Potatoes, be careful down there, don't fly too fast. It's certainly not as stable as a one-block system, and it can provide substantial protection against Lord Clang. But what about when you want to get on top of your vehicle to do some maintenance? Well, that's where Digi's ladder mod comes in handy. It comes in both a deployable form and ladder segments as well, for both large and small ships. It gives you the option to get some vertical circulation in a tight space, such as this control tower for the landing platform. Interestingly enough, it was actually something that was supposed to be in the vanilla version of Space Engineers, but was since scrapped because of the difficulty involved in programming it. But give a modding community enough time and they'll solve it for themselves. And thus, we've arrived at our final mod, the Colt Command Console Pack, originally made by Colt, but taken over by Eichster since Colt retired from the modding community. It's a mod that doesn't fit in the criteria that I established in the beginning part of this video. It doesn't add anything mechanically to Space Engineers, but I felt it had to be on this list because it adds so much visually to your experience in Space Engineers, and is, in my opinion, the cherry on top, the last piece to any puzzle, the final bit to your creation that really makes it feel polished and part of a science fiction universe. So if you'd like to subscribe to this list, make sure you check the description of the video and click on the Steam link to my collection page. It's my hope that this video helps you new players get started in the modding community and opens the door to a lot of other cool creations that didn't make this list, that are equally or even more cool than what's featured here. Have a mod that you think's pretty awesome? Let me know in the comments section of the video, and I hope to see you guys next time. I wonder if the guys will think I'm crazy for talking to myself this entire time. Come on, potatoes. They're gonna kill us if we don't get back to making season 2.
What is a season 2?
Here we go again.